or action then by the Security Council for only one reason, and that was because the Russians weren't there. About 6 months before,
Lord Gladwyn, since you played a major role in the organization of the United Nations, how do you react to recent charges that the UN is ineffective as a world governing organization?
I don't quite know what you mean by playing a major role in the organization, but it's true that I did have a part to play in the writing of the Charter, in the negotiation of the Charter, and in the negotiation of the famous Yalta voting formula, which meant, as you all know, that you couldn't have effective action by the Security Council unless all the 5 permanent members were in agreement, notably the America and Russia. And if we hadn't adopted that formula, if we'd agreed that there should be just ordinary majority voting in the United Nations, it wouldn't have gone through because the Russians would never have accepted that, and I don't believe that the United States Congress would ever have accepted it either, myself. So that this formula, whereby there had to be agreement between the 5 major powers at that time, was inevitable. You couldn't have formed the organization on any other basis. The only alternative would have been had no organization. However, it did give the Russians, of course, and indeed the Americans and us and the French and the Chinese, if they were there, it did all give them what's called a veto. And that is so. And so long as that position exists, it's true you can't have any really effective organization, any effective action by the United Nations for the preservation of peace. You can't have it taking action, forceful action on its own, unless there is substantial agreement between the 5 permanent members of the Security Council, notably between America and Russia. Well, well, I believe, I don't know personally I didn't know I was going to be asked about this, and I don't really know my facts. But as I understand it, the trade is absolutely minimal. I think it's under $1 million or something. Quite trivial. It doesn't make the slightest difference to anybody. I don't think the British get any particular gain or profit out of it, whatever it is. Of course, the United States is not at war, if I may say so, at North Vietnam. War has not been declared.
I said the United States was involved in a war.
Well, you may say it's involved in war, but from the point of international law, you haven't declared war, and therefore, presumably, we don't expect other people to recognize that you are at war.
Should that make a difference between old friends like the United States and Great Britain?
Well, I don't think the British are doing the United States the slightest harm with this under $1 million or whatever it is. I can't see it makes any difference one way or the other. Probably it's some 1 or 2 ships, small ships, isn't it, from Hong Kong. I don't know what they import, nothing much anyhow. It might be difficult. I don't know the facts, I repeat. I don't know
Great
what
Britain isn't doing any harm. Do you think they should be doing us any good, like sending troops there and helping us out?
Well, I don't think you can expect the British really to send troops, because these hostilities, after all, were embarked on by the United States without consulting Britain, incidentally, and our advice was never asked for, as far as I remember. And I think I shall say in my lecture that for a long time, you may remember, the United States took the view that the British Empire was responsible for for a great deal of ill in the world, that it should be abolished at the earliest possible opportunity, that the Commonwealth and imperial preferences, they call, were no good and should be abolished too, and that generally speaking it would be a very good thing if we abandoned our world role and concentrated on our island. Well, now we've accepted that advice, and now we're told it isn't right. We should come and help you to conquer North Vietnam.